Welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas with Kati and Angie. I'm Kati Weeks, an independent, close to my heart maker and advocate. And we will be sharing with you over the next 12 days some inspiration of things that you can make this Christmas season. Today, I'm going to start off with a little advent calendar, and I can't wait to show you what I've created. Okay, so we're going to get started with the tab door card front thin cut, and then we're going to use the Jingle Joy Scrapbooking stamp set and Sapphire, Belle, Pewter, and Pebble ink. I cut from White Daisy cardstock 2 of the tab door thin cut pieces. And now I am cutting out 3 of the tabbed doors, the 3 smallest ones, because I only need 25 doors. You see there that I'm also using a piece of paper from the Serenity paper pack. This one is actually from the Cardmaking kit. I'm using a stamping platform to help line up everything perfectly. So I'm taking the left side tab door piece and I'm stamping in Sapphire ink the sentiment that says just believe. Now you can see here, I'm going to show you what the second generation looks like. There's actually little hash marks from where all those doors are. So that doesn't work. So I have to use first generation on a scrap piece of paper before I can do the second generation on the piece of paper that will sit behind all of those closed tab doors. I really want to make it so that you see a little bit of what's on the front when you take a peek inside each of those little tab doors. So I go through doing 2 generations of everything. So on the right side tab doors, I'm stamping All is Bright, and I'm doing that in Sapphire ink. Then I'm going to stamp it off first generation on scrap paper before I stamp it second generation on the background paper that's behind the closed doors for the right hand side of the card. It's kind of a tedious process to go through each thing twice for first generation, but I really like how it comes out at the end, and I think you'll see that it is a nice way to be able to see that inside each of the tab doors. So next, I think I'm going to be stamping the star for the right hand side of my advent calendar. I'm stamping it in pewter ink. And then I'm going to stamp it off on some scrap paper. And then I do the second generation for the inside of the right hand side of my card, the background piece. So I go through and do next some trees for the left and right side of my tab doors, and these will be stamped in Bluebell. First on the tab doors, then I will do it on scrap paper, then I will do it on the bottom layer for each of those panels. If you are enjoying learning about some of these techniques, I would appreciate it if I not only can inspire you, but that if you're learning something, you might in turn share this video with your friends, as well as like, subscribe, turn on your notifications as well. I love teaching techniques like this and hope I'm inspiring you. The last set of trees that I did on the left and right side were stamped in Pebble ink. And That one was much, much lighter for the underneath layers, but I think you can still see just enough of them that you get the effect of what is going on with the different layers. Originally, I had tried cutting these tab door panels as one large layer, and that's how I did on my first version of the advent calendar. It just didn't fold as nicely with the extra piece of Serenity paper behind it, so I actually did it different the second time and used two different pieces for the tab doors on the inside. I like it a whole lot better than my first version. Okay, so apparently the next part of my video, I did not get recorded correctly. So I'm going to explain to you what I did. I taped together the two layers with my adhesive, and I just went around the outside and a little dot here and there on the inside of adhesive. And since I used that stamping platform, everything lined up perfectly. See how the word believe just continues? Let's look at one of these other ones. I haven't opened all of these. See how they just continue and line up perfectly? So I glued these two together, I glued these two together, and I put them inside. I also used my sponge tool and Bluebell ink and went around the edges before I glued them together. And I used this stippling tool. It's an old one from close to my heart. And I just went around like this all over the front of both of these just to give that, it's almost like a speckled egg look. Can you see that? It's really pretty. So I did that on the whole thing. I also used my clear shimmer brush on my star, and I used one gem from my sparkles, a clear one right here in the middle of that star. And then I have not finished mine, but I use my Pewter journaling pens. I use the .03 to write inside here, and I use the .01 to put a scripture verse. So what I did with this, and this sample is finished, it's just not the same. I took 25 names for Jesus for my advent calendar and gave a verse where that name is used in scriptures. So that's what I did for the 25 days for my advent calendar. And then on day 25, which will be December 25th, it's Matthew 1:21, you are to give him the name Jesus. So Jesus is day 25. So, yeah, and I just glue the whole thing down to the base. This base is slightly bigger than an A2 card, but it's so close that it'll still fit in the envelope. So it is 5 5/8 by 8 and not quite 3/4, about 8 3/4, pretty close. So, and it should still fit in an envelope. I did not decorate the front because I'm not really sending it for the outside, which is kind of backwards from how we usually do our cards. I'm doing it just for the inside. Tomorrow, Angie Moore will be with you to share some inspiration. I have left her YouTube channel in my description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell so that you can turn on your notifications, and then make sure you share this video. If you'd kindly leave some comments, that would be great too. Have a great day.